AskReddit by Specialist Metal 458. Americans, what do Europeans have every day that you see as a luxury? This is only really true for Southern Europe. But cheap wine by the glass, cheap coffee and pastries. Cafes in the US are marketed as very trendy, and if you want a pastry and a coffee you should be ready to pay like $8-10. In most of Italy, Portugal and Spain you can get coffee and a croissant for like €3. I live in Czech Republic and we can get it for about €2 also. I spent time abroad in Italy for school and there was just so much less of a rush everywhere. Oftentimes the latest person to my classes, we were professors, everyone really took their time and I didn't really feel the bustle of constantly going somewhere when I was there. I mean, dang, the village my apartment was located shut down for a few hours in the afternoon so the shopkeepers could go have lunch. It was wild. Mediterranean Europe is very different from other parts. I've gone to Spain most years of my life, lived there for 3 and a bit months last year, and it's as you describe. But I'm also born and raised in London, worked in central London with a train commute. Everyone is very much in a rush. I'd imagine it's similar in some places in Northern Europe too. Guaranteed 4+ weeks of vacation. And the fact that they are encouraged to take the vacation instead of being made to feel that it's a burden to the employer that you go on vacation. At least here in Italy, you are encouraged to take vacation for a simple reason: it's super duper illegal not to take them. And if you do not take them, your employer may face serious consequences. Vacation requests may only be denied for important organizational reasons. You might need X people trained to do something specific at any time, for example in hospitals, and if an alternative vacation plan is proposed by the employer. Affordable universities. Our daughter is going to university in Scotland. Our US friends always respond with shock at the luxury of going overseas for school until I tell them it's one stroke to the cost of an equivalent as college. That includes travel expenses. If you're Scottish, it's free. Readily available and reliable public transportation. Not from the US, but I'm also in a country with shitty, unreliable public transportation, and last month I visited Budapest for 4 days and used their public transportation at least 15 times during my stay. Never had to wait more than 10 minutes. Worst delay I saw was like 3 minutes, and not once has a bus or a train tram never just showed up. It was great. Local bakeries with wonderful fair priced food readily available on their walking commute. Oh man, the bread is so amazing and fresh. 2+ weeks long vacations. I've had to reach to our contact at HQ in Europe for support and have legit been told to ask someone else because he was going to Switzerland skiing for 3 weeks on holiday. But here I am getting nervous about taking more than 3 days off in a row because I don't want to come back to 500+ emails. Here basically everything is closed for 3 weeks during August and 2 weeks during Christmas. Now, I'm talking about offices and such. We just don't give a shit. If customers want us, they will have to wait like everyone else. They can travel between different countries in Europe without spending days driving or flying. And without border controls or checkups. I can just sit in a car here in Germany and drive to France, NL. Romania. Edit. Comments told me Romania isn't part of Schengen agreement. Damn, that's sad. And all the other EU countries. Just realizing I'm in another country because of the traffic signs. Once sat in a train and slept in. After like 30 minutes I woke up, got off the train and realized I'm in Enschede, Netherlands, living in NRW, so pretty close to the border. I was like hectometers, okay. Got €50 in my pocket, so I decided to visit a coffee shop and walk a bit through the city until the next train in the right direction arrived. Like I do in every other city while traveling by train. Being able to walk around town with a beer is awesome. Public transportation in non-huge cities is also awesome. Many US cities, and especially the smaller towns, are getting on board with this. The beer, not the public transportation. Bathroom stalls that actually go to the floor. I don't need to know what shoes the guy taking a shit next to me has on. Even worse, if the bathroom has shiny polished floors, you can basically look the human beside you in the eyes if you're both leaning forward. LMFAO worked at a job site that had those for a couple months and man, the absolute fucking weirdness was beyond me. Germany gets 4 weeks vacation starting out. I have to work for my German-based company in the US for 20 years before I can get equal vacation time. They refuse to negotiate. Edited for correction. Deleted. Healthcare. Life-work balance. Walkable communities. Great train service. Took too long to find healthcare. This is by far and away the #1 difference in this category. Legitimate sick days. I recently read a post of an American resident doctor who couldn't afford to take vacation because they had to spend it on sick days. Not going to lie, my brain short-circuited at that a bit. Was a doctor supposed to come sick to a hospital full of other sick people to avoid personal financial penalties? Paid parental leave. I had used all of my leave with my first kid, so when I had another kid a year and a half later, I was back on my feet teaching in under 6 weeks. Dogs get better treatment than working mothers. Here in Lithuania, mothers can choose to either take 2 years paid leave being paid at 80% their average salary the first year and 60% the second year, or take 3 years paid leave with the third not getting paid at all. But during all those years their taxes and social security continue to get paid by the government, and additionally, until the child reaches 8 years of age, they also get paid about $250–300 per child every month as well. And again, additionally a few $100s more as a one-time childbirth payment. The father also gets 1 month paid at 100% their average salary with the mom's paid leave, and the 2 years paid leave can be freely interchanged and divided between the mom and dad. America is just dumb. €1 espressos. Cries in North European. As a European, I'm amazed how you guys are looking at certain things I consider basic needs as luxuries: not having to use a car for every single time that you leave your house. For a lot of people, you have to go drive somewhere to take a walk. This place can be a hell and it is numbing. I have to drive somewhere just to ride my damn bike, surrounded by highways. Healthcare they can afford. I remember when healthcare became a luxury, early 1990s. Was paying $500 a month for good insurance for nearly 10 senior SWHW engineers. Imagine my surprise when the annual renewal cost was $1,200. Absolutely nothing had changed, no major illnesses among my employees, just fuck you, your premium just increased by 240%. Bread that doesn't have the sugar content of cake. And to be honest, all the in-processed food. The last time this came up, that is no proper bread in the US, Americans were basically calling this a misconception, saying there were bakeries in the US selling sourdough bread everywhere and it's just down to choice what people eat. Schools that teach other languages effectively. That would be so nice. Kind of annoying that we don't teach Spanish from an early age alongside English. My school started teaching me Spanish in pre-K. Also, it's a lot easier to learn a foreign language when you're either a. Constantly exposed to said language, as just about everyone in the developed world is constantly exposed to English, or b. Your language is in the same family. For example, it will always be easier for an Italian to learn Spanish, French, etc. because they're all Romance languages. Healthcare, worker protections, safe schools, vacations, better food standards, walkable cities, public transportation, affordable fully funded education. Ironically, most Americans have no idea of the benefits and work-life balance that Europeans have. So that is my answer as an American who has lived in Europe and painfully knows now how great certain aspects of it are. Nearby markets with fresh fruits, vegetables, and bread. Smaller refrigerators result in more frequent shopping for fresh items. Some might see this as a handicap, but I love the idea of choosing what I eat based on what's fresh in the market. Also, that the EU prohibits many of the chemicals used in American food products. Deleted. Being able to walk around your city town to go to work or on errands and vacation time off of work. Healthcare that doesn't drive you into bankruptcy. In that vein, healthcare that isn't shackled to your employer and used by them as a benefit. A unit system that makes sense. Up here in Canada we can't make up our mind on what we want to use. Temperature inside the house. Fahrenheit. Temperature outside. Celsius. Cooking. Back to Fahrenheit. How tall am I? 5 feet 9 inches. How far away is something? Kilometers. How heavy am I? Pounds. How heavy is that bag of rice? Kilograms. Building a house. Imperial tape measure. Building an apartment building. Metric. The list goes on and for some reason we all accept it as normal. Cheap international flights. England to Amsterdam is $50. WTF. Spaniards have nap time after lunch. We're told it's unnatural to be tired and get 5-hour energy ads shoved down our throats. Most of us don't nap during weekdays. It's more common on the weekend unless you're a kiddo retired. Healthcare. Time off from work. Maternity leave. Paternity leave. My work just increased mat and pat leave and the government just announced more free childcare. Of course this all happened just too late to affect me, but it's great to see companies and governments starting to give more support to those starting families. Foreskin. Functional public transit. Bike lanes. Wheel bread. I am French living in VA and it's just fucking insane that we don't even have a thing as simple as $1 baguette. Oh, and Turkish kebabs. Tell me why it's impossible to find a damn Turkish doner or dirham. Everyone has these fake ass gyro they call JIROSMHHHHHHHHH. I'd pay $50 just to eat French bread and a kebab again. No joke. Much cleaner, higher quality food with fewer chemicals, preservatives and other junk in it. The EU has stricter food quality standards, and a wide selection of American food cannot be imported into the EU because it contains chemicals, additives, preservatives, etc. that are on the banned list. The food tastes better and after a week, the difference in how you feel is very noticeable. American food is trash. You don't have to worry about healthcare costs. I'm on my parents' insurance right now, but next year when I'm 26 I'm no longer covered. Since I'm in college and don't have a job, I'll get it through Obamacare, but it will be much more expensive for fewer services. More walkable cities with mass transit. I know it's not everywhere in Europe, but it's more common than it is here in the US. Universal healthcare. Vacation days. Local mom and pop shops. Transit system. Walkable cities. Here in the US, most of us pay out of pocket for healthcare and insurance. If you don't have a job it gets very expensive. Most jobs only offer 2 weeks vacation. People I met in Europe get like 6 weeks. Majority of our grocery and food spots are chains. In Europe it seems like they don't let them infiltrate neighborhoods too much. Even pharmacies I went to in Italy, Belgium, Germany were mom and pop owned. In America pharma has a stranglehold on pharmacies. The transit system all over Europe is fast, reliable and cheap. The plus side is, they work on an honor system in some of the countries I visited. Walkable cities. Public transit. Free healthcare. The metric system, TBH.